For those of you just joining us, this is another episode of Never Again Live podcast, which is coming to you live from Israel. Those are in America right now, where it's kind of noonish. It's nighttime in Israel. Meir Weinstein is going to come to us live from the new D City Mall, and we have a special guest we'll introduce a little later. Without any further ado, we're going to do a little countdown. And as you know, there's a live chat, so please do chat. Tell us what you think, what you want to say. And if you'd like to, let us know. We can put your chats on the screen. Once again, those of you just joining us, this is Never Again Live with Meir Weinstein, coming live from Israel, and our special guests. If you like us, share us right now. Let your friends know on your Facebook or PC or via email or on YouTube. Join us and support us. Only together can we fight anti-Semitism. Today is May 1st, live podcast series with Meir Weinstein, and tonight's episode is Hamas, BDS, and Al-Quds Day. So this is kind of the third episode in the trilogy about Al-Quds Day. The last two episodes also focused on the before Al-Quds Day, during, and this is kind of to reflect back and see what we might be able to learn from this horrific event. So what have we learned? My special guest tonight, will be joining us a little later, is a quite reputable Lieutenant Colonel Mordechai Kedar, who's a professor at Bar-Ilan University. He's a scholar, an author, a columnist, and an international lecturer. Not only that, but at the young age of 67, I say the young age because us people in our late 60s, that's a middle age for us. And he proudly serves the IDF. While he's performing and serving in the IDF, I'm having trouble getting out of bed in the morning. Quite an impressive character. We look forward to chatting with him a little later in the show. For you who are wondering about this voice in the corner, that's me. I'm in our South Texas studios. Meir is in the mall. So what have we learned? Part 3 in our Al-Quds Day trilogy. The first episode, we just talked about Al-Quds Day, its origins from Iran, its origins of hate, anti-Semitism, and let's kill all the Jews. We had a great panel. If you missed it, by all means, go to our website, israelnow.ca, and it's available on our website as well as on our YouTube station. Our second in our trilogy was about the universal call. Al-Quds Day isn't just celebrated and in the Middle East, all over the world, everywhere from Toronto to California to Brooklyn to all over Europe, they celebrate the hope extermination of the Jewish race. So today's episode is going to be what have we learned, because we need to learn. We need to reflect back and see what perhaps we could do different in the future. Simeon ben Zoma said, somewhere around the 2nd century, who is wise? He who learns from every man. And that's our goal, to learn even from those who hate us. What can we learn from them? Solomon the Wise said, prophetically, and it's inscribed in Pirkei Avot. He who has been, what has been is what will be, and what has been done is what will be done. And there's nothing new under the sun. So if we keep that and reflect that, things haven't changed much over the past 3,000 years regarding the world's outlook on Judaism and Zionism and the Israel state. And talking about history repeating itself, Churchill said, those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. So let's learn from history. 4 decades later, philosopher George Santayana, not to be confused with Carlos Santana, said, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And perhaps Churchill, with a little alcohol there, forgot that somebody already said that 4 decades earlier.
אדוני היושב-ראש, חברי חברי הכנסת, באמת צר לי שחברי הכנסת הערבים לא נשארו לשמוע את מה שיש לי להגיד להם.
What he's saying at the Knesset several years ago is what has not changed since then. The lies that Goebbels, Hitler's right-hand man, said that you'll tell a lie often enough, people start to believe it. And that is the entire story of the Palestinian people.
שומע במשך ימים רבים על שינוי הסטטוס קוו בהר הבית. אז אני רוצה להגיד לך שכאחד שאולי יותר מכל אחד בבית הזה ויותר מכל חברי הכנסת הערבים, בחשבון פשוט שעשיתי, עליתי 3,840 פעם להר הבית במסגרת תפקידי השונים. בממוצע 4 פעמים בשבוע במשך 20 שנה, כדי לוודא שהסטטוס קוו הזה לא מופר. ואני אומר לכם, מי שהפר את הסטטוס קוו בהר הבית זה המוסלמים עצמם, זה התנועה, הפלג הצפוני ראאד סלאח, שבימיו של אהוד ברק כראש הממשלה הפכו את אורוות שלמה למסגד אחד ענק. והתפקיד שלי בין היתר היה לא לאפשר להם למחוק סמלים יהודים במדרגות חולדה, אותן מדרגות שהביאו למה שהיום קוראים אל-אקצא הקדום, אבל אלה מבואות הר הבית. אם מרימים את הראש לתקרה רואים סימנים של אמן יהודי שרקע בתקרה באבן ערבה ותמר ורימון, וכל פעם הייתי צריך להילחם בזה שהיו מנסים להכניס צבעים או מנסים לסטט את אותם סימנים יהודים מאותם אולמות של מבואות חולדה שהשחיסו את העם היהודי אל תוך הר הבית. ועומד פה חאג' יחיא ובלי בושה אומר שלא היה בית המקדש מעולם, ואני מתחנן אליהם, לראשי הפלג הצפוני, כבר 10 שנים, בואו איתי ואני אראה לכם איפה שכן בית המקדש, איפה קודש הקודשים, איפה השערים שמובילים אל תוך הר הבית. לעמוד כאן ולמחוק את ההיסטוריה היהודית בשקר. 1,300 שנה כאשר באו ושאלו איפה היה בית המקדש של היהודים, והראו להם שם נבנו המסגדים, לצערי, אבל זה מה שיש. ובקוראן, שתדעו, לא רשום בשום מקום ירושלים. רשום שסוסו של מוחמד הגיע למסגד הקיצון, והוא מסגד אל-אקצא. זה הסימן היחידי, זה אותו סיפור של אליהו הנביא שעלה השמיימה, שהעתיקו אותו מהתנ"ך שלנו, מההיסטוריה היהודית. ולבוא ולהגיד שאין שום סימן היכר בהיסטוריה היהודית למקום כזה קדוש, זה פשוט לעוות את ההיסטוריה. אין שום שינוי בסטטוס קוו בהר הבית. לעמוד פה כשאין להם מה להגיד ולהגיד לא נתנו להיכנס להר הבית משעה זו עד שעה זו, זו הייתה המלצה שלי לשר גלעד ארדן, לא לאפשר, חצי דקה אדוני בבקשה, ברשותך, לא לאפשר למתפללים צעירים מוסלמים בני 15 עד 30 שמפרו יום יום את הסדר בהר הבית לעלות להר הבית, לסגור את ההר בפניהם, וכשעצרו אוטובוסים זה בעקבות ידיעות מודיעיניות שהם באים להפר את הסדר. חבל שחאג' יחיא לא נמצא כאן, הייתי אומר לו: אדוני חבר הכנסת חאג' יחיא, אתה משקר במצח נחושה.
תודה.
בואו תימנעו מהלהבות האלה ותרגיעו את הציבור, כי אנחנו רואים מה כולנו עוברים בימים טרופים אלה. תודה רבה.
And that was 6 years ago. Nothing has changed. They're still up on the Temple Mount throwing rocks, setting fires, and defacing our holy sites. Khaybar Yehud. The early Muslims, led by Muhammad, marched on Khaybar and massacred the Jews who had lived there since time immemorial. And they want to do the same thing today. They tell us. Somebody tells us they want to kill us, we should believe them. Young men were beheaded. The young women were taken as slaves. And this is a time that Safiya, whose husband and brother were murdered, and then Muhammad took her as his 10th wife. We forget that just recently, in 1921, Arab men bearing clubs, knives, swords, and guns beat and killed Jews on the streets, in their shops, in their homes, including children. And then today, as if we don't remember, a member of Knesset says on these walls the flag of Palestine will be hoisted and Jerusalem will be the capital of reconquered Palestine. And that's our Knesset speaking. And this is what he's inciting. So again, what is our topic today? Our topic is, what have we learned? And I fear to say we haven't learned much. The Abraham Accords, everybody got so excited. The Abraham Accords, what a wonderful opportunity. We provide the Arab countries with peace, technology, security, defense. And what do we get other than a deafening echo chamber of hatred when we come up for votes, United Nations, and all these wonderful countries that shook our hands vote against us when it's us versus the Palestinians, or us versus the Arab world, or us versus civil rights? When will we learn that land for peace really means take our land piece by piece? I think they spelled peace wrong. But all they want is a little Arab land. Right? I mean, this is the Middle East. This little yellow dot is Israel, and that's more than they think we deserve, even though it's our homeland for 3,000 or 4,000 years that God gave to us. Hillel the Elder eloquently said, which is also inscribed in Pirkei Avot, if I am not for me, who will be for me? We need to be for everybody, which we are, but we need to not forget about ourselves. The progressive Jews will tikkun olam us into obscurity and into a people that will be only of historical significance. They don't get it. Nor did the progressive Jews during the Holocaust, nor did they during the Inquisition, nor did they back in ancient Egypt. The Babylonian Talmud, with no uncertain terms, said the following: who comes to kill you, get up early to kill him first. That's what Israel is now starting to do once again. We've done it in the past. If we know that some country says we're going to kill all the Jews, don't think he's bluffing.
It's better to have a Jewish state that is hated by the whole world than an Auschwitz that's loved by it.
Al-Quds festivities all over the world. This is on how their holiest time of the year, where they fast all day, At night, they preach about killing Jews, destroying Israel, and making the Jewish race extinct. The world is a dangerous place not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look on and do nothing. And here Israel now, we don't look on and do nothing. We're active, we're proactive. So please join us at israelnow.ca. Help us fight anti-Semitism. Join us at israelnow.ca. And here's Meir with the Parsha of the week. Meir, take it away.
Okay.
And Ezra in the background.
Okay. Okay. Great to be with everyone. I'm here in Mole Demim, and I'm at a mall called D City. It's apparently the largest mall in Israel, and it's beautiful. It's got sort of like a Las Vegas touch to it. Excellent restaurants here, excellent stores, just a jewel in the middle of nowhere. Mole Demim is almost like a suburb of Jerusalem. It's approximately 10 minutes from Jerusalem. And here we are at this at D City. Fabulous. In fact, let me give a little plug for the restaurant here that's letting us use their internet connection. Mito's Restaurant and Bar. Gorgeous here. Beautiful. Food is fabulous too. I recommend come here. And we're probably going to be a number of shows while I'm here in Israel, broadcasting live from D City to them. They should be successful. Really, it's beautiful here. Join me, join us. Have a great time here. The Parsha is Akhrei Mos, and in this Parsha that I just read in all the synagogues last Shabbat, the Parsha deals with the Mishkan, the tabernacle, and how holy it is, how special it is. And the Parsha talks about Aaron, and this was after his two sons died by giving a strange offering in the tabernacle. And it goes on about how exclusive it is, and what a gift it is to the Jewish people, getting the Jewish people ready for when they enter into Israel to build the Beis Hamikdash, the temple, and how appropriate to talk about the holiness of the temple, the Beis Hamikdash. When we have seen during the month of Ramadan, you'll notice I don't say the holy month of Ramadan because Hamas has taught us the definition of Ramadan. It goes hand in hand with slogans calling for the murder of Jews. That is exactly what they did on the Temple Mount, on our Temple Mount. They raised the Hamas flags, they chanted, and they were determined. They threw rocks at Israeli police. They even threw rocks over that landed at the Kotel, putting Jewish worshipers in danger. They threw Molotov cocktails. We even have video that there were some Muslims inside the mosque that were playing soccer. That's what kind of respect they have for it. They're supposed to, what I understand, not have shoes on when they're inside the mosque, the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Lots of video, that's being discarded. That's being completely discarded by many. And again, they were playing soccer. There are video clips of that. Chanting, slaughter the Jews, get the Jews. The armies of Muhammad are coming for you. This was going on. I don't consider it a holy month. I don't consider it a month where there's introspection. If anything, good Muslims should take a stand now and condemn what took place on the Temple Mount, the holiest place for the Jewish people. We're going to be discussing that. We're going to be discussing Al-Quds Day tonight. We have a special guest who's going to be joining us, Mordechai Kedar. He's an expert on the subject of anti-Semitism. He knows the topic well from every direction. Every direction. We have a case right now that a peace partner for Israel, Jordan, state of Jordan, that they're trying to dictate to Israel that no Jew should be allowed to visit the Temple Mount. And not only that, but Israeli security should not be there. Can you imagine? Hamas has exclusive control of the Temple Mount, and then they lob Molotov cocktails down, rocks down on the Jews that are at the Kotel. That would be the new reality. In a sense, that would be the pathway to dividing Jerusalem and a war against Israel from the Temple Mount. The government is certainly not going to succumb to that. The coalition government of Israel, there's no way they're going to. There will be a red line for them. A lot to discuss. There was Al-Quds Day events through the world. Some today, yesterday, Friday, earlier in the week as well. Different places in the world. In Toronto, there was an event in Canada. There was an event yesterday, an Al-Quds Day event. And, I shared some information that one of the leaders of the Al-Quds Day event in Toronto, who's from Kitchener, Ontario, has an Islamic center there, that he admitted on an online international Al-Quds Day event that due to our efforts, we've informed government at all kinds of levels in Canada about Al-Quds Day and the danger of Al-Quds Day, that his Islamic center was receiving government funding for a federal student program. So after exposure, he was cut off, and he has to repay some of the money, in fact, to the federal government. We've had some successes. Anyways, Mordechai Kedar is with us now. We're going to be discussing events moving forward, lessons from Al-Quds Day. So is Mordechai there? Mordechai?
Hi, Meir. How are you?
Thank God I'm well. How are you?
Could not be better. Seeing you makes everything much better.
Well, thank you very much. I'm right now in D City in Mole Damim. It's a brand new mall here. It's gorgeous here. I don't know if you've been to D City.
Of course, Male Domim. I'm there like once a year for functions, lectures, and so forth.
Perfect. Okay, excellent. So Mordechai, we just finished Ramadan, and we've had Al-Quds Day throughout the world. Had Hamas on Harabite, on the Temple Mount, leading the chants, death to Jews, the army of Muhammad are coming for you. What are we supposed to take out of, what's the lesson for the Jewish people going forward from what we have witnessed so far?
Well, let me tell you, Meir, as you might know, the best defense is an attack, as it is usual.
Okay.
What do I mean? Even if we talk about anti-Semitism, which is a kind of attack which they attack us, we look, if you sorry, just a minute.
Sure.
Just a minute.
He's a busy man. There's no question about it.
If you defend, you might survive. If you attack, you might win. And there is a big difference. You cannot win by defense. In order to win the battle, you have to go on offense. And the battle about anti-Semitism is exactly this. They attack us by all kinds of false accusations. For example, that we control the world. So there are two ways, either to defend ourselves by saying, no, we don't control the world, or by an offense to show that they control the world. They intimidate the world. They frighten the world. They make the world terrorized. And this is my strategy, either in the media or in any other arena. Never defend yourself. Attack the one who attacks you. Cause him to be in defense. For example, Iran is attacking us physically, morally, in any possible way. Instead of defending ourselves, I think that we should go out to attack Iran by inciting the minorities, the ethnic minorities in Iran, which together are a majority, in order to rebel against the Persians and to dismantle the Iranian Empire. And this is the only way how to answer effectively, how to answer the propaganda against us in the Islamic world, which is fueled and encouraged by the Iranians. And they are today the power behind the anti-Semitism in the Islamic world, which something which I deal with. And this is the way how anti-Semitism should be dealt with, by an offense from our side, which is exactly what you yeah. We don't have to defend ourselves. What we have is to attack the others. And we have to find the weak points of the others in order to attack them in the weak points.
The leader of Hamas made a statement over the weekend that he wants all the synagogues in the world to be attacked. That's his future plan. And that's what he's calling on his supporters from the various BDS groups to do. So it's been elevated, the level of threat from this entire network. And as you say, Iran is the head of it. Hamas is part of the Iran strategy.
I think that by saying that all the synagogues in the world should be attacked, we should say that Hamas actually allows everyone to attack the mosques, because you cannot allow attacking shuls without being exposed to the same punishment. Mm-hmm. This should be the answer. What? Do you allow us to attack your mosques? If you say no, he loses because it's discrimination against Jews. If he says yes, he's losing because he allows us to attack mosques. Not that I'm preaching to attack mosques, but to pose it in a way which will make him look ridiculous or hypocrite.
Right. One of the problems that we have in our community, not so much in the Jewish community in Israel, the way I see it anyways, but certainly in diaspora, that you've already had many Jews from left-wing organizations, one group, for instance, called Trua, that's very associated, very involved with J Street. And they actually condemned Israel for what was going on Har Bayit. They took the side of the Arabs. They bought into the Hamas narrative. How do we deal with in our community that it almost seems like they're aiding and abetting the enemy?
Look, this is a big question which the state of Israel for many years since the beginning of Jewish activity against Israel, I think it began with Shalom Achshav, an American Friends of Shalom Achshav, which started to act, as much as I remember, in the late 70s in the States already. And I'm talking about something like 40 something years ago. Always the question was how to answer, how to react to such an activity, which is viewed by Israel as anti-Israeli activity by Jews. The answer which was given through the years is that we do not fight back. Because, as we say in Yom Kippur, Ad Yom Moto Techake Lo, until his last day, means God, is waiting for the Jew to repent. And this is our attitude to those misled Jews who lost the path, who became, I think, captives of wrong ideologies. We do hope that one day they will see the light and repent. We do not want to alienate them. We do not want to turn our back to them. We still hope, just like God, that one day they will repent and come back to us and understand our point better. We do not want to push them out from Judaism because this will be much worse. And, sometimes, yes, Israel has to swallow all kinds of bitter candies, which is being pushed down our throat by those Jews who are misled by activists from other arenas. That's what we believe. And look, Shalom Achshav, or Peace Now, is not the only organization. You have If Not Now, and you have True Eyes, you mentioned, and you have your neighbor, Naomi Klein, and you have many others like Finkelstein and many other Jews who attack Israel on right, left, and center. Israel decided strategically not to attack back. J Street is the same. We don't not to attack back and not to ask organizations like AIPAC, for example, to attack back. We hear what they say. We know that they are wrong. We try to explain, but we will never bash them in public. We will never attack them in public. Whatever we have to say to them, we say behind closed doors.
Okay. But that doesn't mean that we go out of our way to give them any particular type of covet.
No. Look, there are some of them, as much as I know, there are some of them who are denied entry in Israel. And they know that they are denied entry, so they remain wherever they are. And that's it. Israel protects itself from them, but Israel doesn't attack. Because the main issue is for them to stay inside the Jewish tent. We are afraid that if we attack them back, they might leave the Jewish tent altogether. And this will be, from our point of view, much worse. Our attitude to them is just like a mother who has to treat children who are not loyal to the mother. Motherhood is something which you cannot divorce. And this is the issue. They are our sons and daughters. Whatever they say against us, whatever they act against us, we hug them, we kiss them, and we hope for better days with them.
Wow. It's incredibly deep. Wow.
In a sense, let me tell you, Meir, we mercy them.
Yep. I hear you. It's, yeah. So we've seen during this whole Ramadan, Hamas, BDS, whatever you want to call them, heirs to the Nazis, the same goal, running wild on the Temple Mount. being almost saying that seems like a little bit of a perception that Israel turns a blind eye to the BDS by allowing all this to happen. Yet Israel has laws to deal with it. And then the Jewish communities are called upon to take action against BDS groups. But it seems to be running rampant here. You got Knesset members, that Arab Knesset members that speak out against the existence of Israel as a Jewish state. What kind of message? Well, how do you see that the messaging coming out of Israel to Jews in the diaspora when it comes to fighting against the BDS? When that is on, it seems to be very tolerated in Israel.
Look, since the BDS movement is not restricted to Jews, it includes many non-Jews. Here we do attack.
Yep.
Here we do attack. I'll give you an example how I deal with these BDS holes.
Yep.
I keep saying to them, hey guys, I highly appreciate what you say about us. However, what did you say about what happened in Syria? How many demonstrations did you arrange against the massacres in Syria? I would even say, you know what? Yes, the genocide which President Assad performs in Syria against his own people. How many demonstrations did you arrange against Assad? How many demonstrations did you arrange against the criminals in Myanmar? How many demonstrations did you arrange against the butcher of North Korea? How many demonstrations did you arrange against Erdogan, who keeps in his jails who knows how many journalists in order to shut their mouths up? How many demonstrations, or what did you do against the Chinese oppression of the Uyghur Muslims in China? Means that you are hypocrites if you concentrate on Israel only. And recently you can definitely say how many demonstrations did you arrange against the Russian war against the Ukraine? Okay, how many demonstrations did you have against the French who are butchering in Mali, the Islamists? Okay, so what I mean is that to pose them and to show how hypocrite the BDS holes are. This, in my humble view, is the most effective way to undermine their credibility, because they means the BDS holes will not be educated. You cannot educate them. They are captives of the Satan. Okay, what we can fight is the sympathy of other people with the BDS holes. And if you show how hypocrite the BDS holes are, this is the way you undermine the credibility in the eyes of those who might join them but might not if they are facing the real information about them. So this is what we have to fight. It is definitely a fight uphill, but it is doable if you send the right messages against those who attack you.
So to point out always the 3Ds, that's what's coined by Sharansky, or the IRA definition of anti-Semitism that gives the examples and shows the utter hypocrisy of what they stand for. Just to highlight that and to really get that across and to show what unbelievably anti-Semitic hypocrites they are, with total tunnel vision against us.
You know what? Let me tell you, there are also rhetorical means. I was in many debates in my life, and the most effective way how to undermine what the other side said is a simple question: why do you lie?
Okay.
Because the pre-assumption of this question is that he's lying. And now he has to explain why he doesn't lie. Okay, this is a good attack by using the language. Or how many times did you lie this evening to the audience? Or why do you lie so many times? Or why whenever your lips are moving, you are saying a lie? Okay, these kind of questions, although they are playing with words, they are very effective when it comes to an audience who contains people who are uninformed. And they are very sensitive to lies because they don't want to be lied to.
Right.
So when you pose the other side as the liar, now you put him in a defense. Now he has to defend himself why he is not a liar. This way how to combat. You know, I once was in Detroit,
right,
not far from Hamilton, from Canada, and I had a debate with the editor of the largest Arab newspaper in the States, Arab Times, and he says, "Yeah, you attack Jerusalem. Jerusalem is ours. Jerusalem is ours forever." So I had the Quran with me.
Right.
I knew that we'll reach this point. So I had a copy of the Quran. So I get up and I give him the Quran, and I ask him, "Will you please open the Quran and show us where Jerusalem is mentioned in the Quran?" He took the book, started to look. I said, "You can look until tomorrow. Jerusalem doesn't appear in the Quran. You can look, keep looking, keep looking for it." Okay. Now the audience will divide it, Muslims on one side and Jews on the other side.
Right.
All the Jews, when they saw it, when he is being so confused by looking for Jerusalem in the Quran and not finding it, because he cannot find it because Jerusalem is not in the Quran, they started clapping. You know, and he was so embarrassed that he even thought the Jerusalem in the Quran. Okay, so here we are. You have to use means, rhetorical means, and yes, sometimes mimic do help, or do some kind of a little show. Give him the book and ask him to show us where Jerusalem is mentioned. Okay, so yes, you have to use your imagination and think from out the box, not from inside the box. So sometimes you can win the war on words, on the minds and hearts of people.
Okay.
And you know, let me tell you something.
Yes.
When I debate, another occasion when I debated a Muslim, you know, according to Islam, Jews are descendants of apes and swines. Means monkeys and pigs. So I asked him, if you take test of my blood, for example, my DNA, what would you find there? A human being or a pig? Or a monkey?
Right.
So he was for a minute, says, no, human being. So I said, but your sources say that we are descendants of pigs and monkeys. So either your sources are gobbledygook, means nothing, or you denounce them. You cannot adopt these sources when these sources are full of nonsense, like the fact that Jews are descendants of swines and apes. So yes, now he has to explain the metaphor of what the sources mean. But he didn't mean the metaphor in the beginning. But in the beginning, he thought every Muslim thinks that this is correct. The Jews are factually descendants of swines. And another time, I asked a counterpart, "Do you really believe that horses can fly?" Okay, so he said no. So how can you believe that Muhammad flew at night on a horseback to Jerusalem in a real world? Maybe by dream, but not in the real world. How can you believe in such a thing? Or in the same debate, I asked him, "Do you really think that a tree and the rock can speak?" So he says, "No." So do you believe in the hadith which says that at the end of time, Muslims will kill the Jews and chase them to a degree that if a Jew will hide behind the tree and the rock, the tree and the rock will say, "Oh, Muslim, a Jew is hiding behind me, come and get him." Okay, this is a hadith which appears in the chart of the Hamas. So I asked them, "Do you really believe that a rock can speak? A tree can speak?" So when they are being confused, they say, "Okay, so do you denounce your sources or not for being illogical and unrealistic?" Okay, so when you push them to the corner, you can win, because the same sources keep saying all kinds of dirty things about Jews, which they recite.
Right. Okay, so Mordechai, you're here in Israel all your life. You've seen all the struggles that Israel has had in your lifetime, and they say now Israel's becoming like a superpower, and now Jews don't want to have a negative reason to move to Israel. Jews want to have a positive, and there's so much good in Israel. What can you tell the people who watch our show, who share our program, who are interested? It's one thing we got to fight against anti-Semitism, but on the other hand, we got this incredible gift, Israel. How was it in the past, and how do you see it in the future?
First of all, let me tell you about the present. Today afternoon, I was in Modi'in, in the town of Modi'in. And the Mincha time came, and I didn't find a minyan. So I stood in the middle of the street and I davened Mincha. Without any embarrassment, without any problem. Because in Israel, you don't have to be embarrassed when you pray Mincha in the street. You know what? For me, it's this whole thing. I don't need more than this. Whenever I am abroad, and I have to catch a Mincha, I take a corner here, corner there, and I'm not... I don't feel so comfortable about this. But here in Israel, you're at home. Okay, this one thing. Second thing, yes, when I was in Toronto a couple of years ago, I came back in the morning from the shore, and a guy who walked towards me said to me, "Dirty Jew." Okay? Now, I didn't do anything because I didn't feel like messing with him, because I had to fly the same day and I didn't want to miss the flight by all kinds of investigations and all kinds of things. So I moved, I continued walking, and I didn't relate to what he said. Here in Israel, I give him a kick in his face if somebody tells me a dirty Jew. Because here it's my home. And if somebody tells me dirty Jew, I don't wait. He will not finish the sentence before I give him a punch in the face.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
So this is the difference. Here in Israel, look, I don't speak, in vain. See this. This is what I walk around with. Okay? And I want to see somebody who tries to mess with me.
Yep.
And this is Israel.
Amen. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Mordechai, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. We're almost out of time, but if you could, final comments that you could say, give us some inspiration. Everything you said is inspiring, but
final comments.
Yes.
We were in this country worshipping the Kadosh Baruch Hu 3,000 years ago, when our neighbors were idol worshippers, wine drinkers, and daughter barriers, burying the daughters alive. So they should have the recheretz to us. That's all. And we are here more than a millennia before them. So they should have the recheretz to us. That's all.
Amen. Incredible. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And
you're welcome.
Thank God that you have the energy and you can say what you say, and you got such fortitude. It's incredible. It's phenomenal. So thank you very much. God bless you. Amen.
Bye.
Thank you.
Just quick comment before you leave, Mordechai. I thought that you might appreciate our public service announcement that we put out. And I'm we're on the same page here, even though I'm in Texas. This is how I go to Shabbat. This is how I go to Yom Kippur. And coming soon to a Judaica shop near you is a concealed carry toilet bag. Don't leave home without it. That's our message for the day. Thank you for being with us.
I got the kippah. I got the kippah from a friend in New Jersey, written "Jews can shoot."
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a Facebook page, and that's what inspired me to circulate this meme on our sites. So,
thank you so much,
Meir. You got some closing comments there?
Well, listen. Jews, come home, come to Israel. It's phenomenal here. It's beautiful here. This is our future. And step by step, everyone the way to do it. There's all types of communities.
This is our past. This is our past, and this is our future.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Past, present, future. This is it. This is the Jewish homeland. It's big enough for all Jews to come and to be successful in every regard in Israel. Come home.
Thank you so much. Happy
birthday. I thought this would be a great time. What Dr. Kedar said, which is we sometimes forget, is that we are all Jews. And I feel sometimes what we need to do is commend and compliment our opponents in public, but in private is when we should condemn them. And I just brought this up. It's a couple of minutes long, but I thought Dr. Kedar would enjoy it. And it goes right along with what he was saying about how we're all Jews. We need to stick together, and we need to educate those who don't get it. But I thought this is an opportunity.
I'm that always writing Jew, that footnote citing Jew, that academic Jew, scholar Jew, that thinking Jew. And let me tell you something, Jew. Worker Jew, white collar Jew, that tend the flock and herder Jew, that calloused foot and hand Jew, that roam the barren sands Jew, that tills and works the land Jew, that old Jew, new Jew, that makes the desert grow Jew, that always trying to make things just a little better Jew. At the same time, don't mind if I'm a self-centered Jew. I'm that persistent, sweated out Jew, that I made it big because I earned it Jew, that give me what I want because I know that I deserve it Jew, that arrogant Jew, that humble Jew, that whatever Jew I'm in the mood to be Jew, just like you, that oh yes, I'm just getting started Jew, and that Israeli Jew, that Caribbean Jew, that English, Indian, Sephardic Jew, that Ashkenazi, blonde and blue-eyed, no I'm not a shiksa Jew, New York Jew, LA Jew, Australia and Ukraine Jew, that Russian, South African, Ethiopian and French, je suis juif Jew, that proud of being Jewish Jew, that Jesus Jew, Judas Jew, that don't know why I'm still being persecuted Jew, scapegoat Jew, that whenever we're murdered, you probably think we had it coming Jew, but still, not afraid to wear my Star of David, Am Yisrael Chai Jew. And that feeling the world is going mad, and damn it, I want to get off Jew. That way too much horror in the news everywhere I turn Jew. That fed up with ISIS beheading Christians, knife-wielding, suicide-bombing lunatics Jew. That disgusted by Boko Haram, Boston Marathon, Lynn Cafe, Pakistani schoolchildren killers, and I've had enough of radical Islam to last me a lifetime Jew. That they're killing so many of their own, but somehow we're blamed for that too, Jew. That wake-up world, Jew. And that you don't want to hear this, but I don't give a damn what you think, Jew. That you're just going to have to deal with it, Jew. That bullied in high school, Jew, because I was rocking a yarmulke, Jew. That standing up to you, Jew. That took to the hand, Jew. And that Iron Dome cheering fan club, where were you when the missiles were raining down on Tel Aviv, Jew? That just shalom motherfuckered you off my Facebook page, Jew. That sick of your double standards, Jew. That UN today equals useless nations to me, Jew. That will fight it out if you have a problem with me, Jew. And yet, I'm and that desperately wanting to live side by side in peace with you, Jew. That get to know me, and you'll see we're not so bad like they make us out to be, Jew. Bingo. I'm that who knew, Jew. I'm that needing to explain, Jew. That let's figure it out together, Jew. That questioning, Jew. The never ever just one answer, Jew. That contemplative Jew. That wild-haired genius Jew. That psychoanalytical and let me tell you something about you and your mother, Jew. That never claimed to be perfect Jew. I'm that shelf-sagging with Nobel Prizes Jew. That brilliant scientist Jew. That astronaut Jew. That inventor of something that's part of your everyday life, but you don't even know it, Jew. But I'm also that let's laugh it up Jew. That I'm on a boat and it's good to be the king Jew. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm the new rules in your face, butt-kicking, sassy, sexy, smart Wonder Woman Jew. That Harvard actress, director, and Princess Leia's mother all rolled into one Jew. That fiddler on the roof, always performing, but damn, I'm gone too soon, Jew. And that lox and bagel noshing Jew. That falafel and hummus eating Jew. That couscous, schnitzel, latkes, and matzo ball soup Jew. And that only liberal democracy in the Middle East Jew. And that became a refugee when my ancestors were kicked out of Arab lands Jew. And that political Jew. That activist Jew. That gay Jew and female rabbi Jew. That eat a Big Mac, but I won't touch bacon Jew. That looking for the truth forever wandering Jew. That just want to get married under a chuppah and break a glass under my heel Jew. And that Merry Christmas, Ramadan Kareem, have a good whatever you're celebrating Jew. And that Hindu high-fiving, Sikh fist-bumping, Christian-loving, Muslim friend-having, Buddhist and Baha'i, I'd love to get to know you better Jew. And that religious Jew. That secular-loving my heritage Jew. That brother-in-arms Jew. Hero Jew. Soldier turned olive branch holding Jew. That put 3 bullets in my back. But you won't kill my dream Jew. That yearning for peace, and I've never been to Israel, but I'll get there someday, because it's my homeland Jew. That almost 6,000 years, and I'm still standing Jew. That Hatikva singing with a tear in my eye Jew. And that won't apologize for surviving Jew. That fighting for my rights Jew. That number 1 and number 6 million and every number in between Jew. That learned from what happened to us in the Holocaust Jew. That never, ever again Jew. And that wish there were more of us Jew. That creative Jew, business funk and folk Jew. That dancer Jew, painter Jew. That Taylor Baker wedding singer Jew. That neurotic Jew, part Jew, let love rule, and wannabe honorary Jew. And that lucky father Jew. That husband to a wonderful woman Jew. That son to loving parents who worked hard so I would be happy Jew. That grandson to those who suffered so we would just make it Jew. That thanks to them, I've got my whole life ahead of me Jew. And that everything's got a reason for being, and I'll keep looking for the answer Jew. That writing this to all my Jewish brothers and sisters Jew. And to those who aren't Jewish, but get this and show me love, I'm that writing this to you with utmost respect Jew. I'm that believer that we're going to be okay because there's no other choice Jew. That hang in there and keep your head up Jew. That human dignity will prevail and the world is made up of decent people Jew. And that believer that the decent people will win in the end Jew. Not a wishful thinking Jew, just true Jew.
Well, Dr. Kedar, would you care to make a closing comment?
Great. Thank you so much.
We always end with Hatikva, so before I get that video on, why don't you and Meir both give a closing comment, and I'll bring up Hatikva to close the show with.
The comment is that in the Middle East, peace
Amen.
is given only to the invincible, and he will get a temporary peace which will last only as long as he is invincible. If Israel will be invincible forever, it will enjoy temporary peace forever.
Amen. Well put. That's it. That's the emes.
This is the logic of the Middle East.
Yes.
נפש יהודי